Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is the fourth edition of the SuperNova Show. Uh, I've got a great cast. Two returning, one new. Let's see here. Yep, we got one new person. I'm going to go ahead and bring Mr. Robert Kastner on so I can interview him and all that fun stuff. Hey, Robert, what's up?
Hey, Colton, how's it going this Friday evening?
Yes. Can't complain. Like I told someone before we started going off, I only had like an hour of prep time for this. I was in there watching TV with my wife and I fell asleep. So I brewed a cup of coffee in my best husband in the galaxy mug. No offense to any other married people on this stream.
I am, but I don't have a mug to prove it, so we'll go with your.
Yeah. So coffee is good. But yeah, so how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. I know the show. I watched a few episodes. I'm very excited to be on. I usually only do this for the sake of regurgitating knowledge that I've accrued. This one actually takes some opinions into account. That's sort of nice, I guess. So I'm very excited to espouse what it is that I believe in, or whatever we're doing here.
All right, so since you're new on the show, tell the viewers and listeners a little bit about yourself. Hobbies, likes, dislikes, if you want to include your profession or whatever. That's up to you. You don't have to disclose any information that you don't want to.
Well, I appreciate that. I am Robert Kastner. I am originally from and spent most of my life in one of the greatest Rust Belt cities in the world, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Anthony and I will probably get into all the inner machinations of what that means for me being where I'm from and him being where he's from and what he roots for and who he roots for. Grew up there, went to private school when I was in high school, all-male boarding school. It's almost pretty much exactly as it has been depicted in media. No, it was really small and it was nice. Went to college, got out, eventually took a job, moved here to Dallas, Texas, where I've been living for the last 6 years. Met my wife at our employment, courted, and then we got married about 2 years ago. And here I sit. I got into the Schmodown just based on a whim. I just wanted to search and find movie trivia stuff on the interwebs, and that was one of the things that came up, and then I kind of became engrossed in it, and I started watching it all the time. So that fueled what it is that I had already been very excited about, which is the idea of trivia and movie trivia. And then that sort of expanded into me being in all these leagues and competing and, doing it for the fun of it.
Yeah, from what I remember from our teams match, you were very good at trivia. You and Antonio destroyed me and Anthony.
Well, to be fair, I thought we got your guys' strength, and I didn't think the questions were particularly difficult for that, even though I studied. You guys got a category I studied, and I was happy that you got it, and then you missed a couple questions. I was like, yes, I know what these questions are. Antonio and I have been playing for a while, so I just think we have sort of our beats down, and we're pretty similar in a lot of things, and that helps sometimes. And we have a lot of synchronicity and synergy, so that helps too.
Yeah, we Anthony definitely carries my team. He like picks my dead carcass off the ground and carries me the entire way. So that happens. He is awesome.
He's a very good opponent. I've played him many a time, not only in that match, but in classics. I'm aware of how good he is. But, get reminded of it every so often, of course.
Yeah. But yeah, 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 it's a good time. I really like the trivia. I got into the Schmodown in season one because I followed Christian and Mark on AMC. Like
Oh,
I watched Movie Talk back in the day, so when they were on, they would plug their stuff, and I was like, "Ooh, I like these guys. Let me see what we got going on here."
wow, you're really OG. I came in like season 3 and just basically have been watching it ever since then. Was aware of Schmo stuff, I think. I think I watched a review or two. But you're really an OG type of guy. I feel like a noob, you know? I feel like one of those nouveau riche type of Schmodown people who don't deserve to be in the same breath as the old people who are there from the ground up.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to figure something out here. Apparently, we are live on
Oh,
TMG Entertainment page.
nice.
Um,
No
so
editing whatsoever.
yeah,
All
apparently,
happening right now.
Amaru just informed me of that, and I don't know how to change that now. So we're gonna kick to that. Anthony, you have any idea how to?
Nope. I think you'd have to do that beforehand when you do go through the broadcast thing. Pretty much all of mine are live, and I can't record because I don't have the fancy one. But I mean, if it's on, it's still going to record. You can still put it on the podcast later. If it's live, it's live at this point.
Okay, then we're all good. That happens. That is totally my bad. People over at TMG Entertainment, but hey, whatever. Things happen.
Now I have something to watch before the free agency. So
It's my first episode, so you can blame me for upsetting the apple cart.
yeah, you're a Penguins fan, so clearly that's the issue, and we know that.
All right. Good job winning the first 2, bud.
Give me one. That's
Yeah.
I'm done.
You won the first 2. You won the first 2.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you. I take it.
All right. So, Robert, I'm going to move you to the back, and I guess I'll interview Anthony about this. Thank you for coming on. I thank you so much.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right. So I am completely flabbergasted about this live thing.
Yeah, whatever. It's done now. We'll just keep it rolling.
Yeah. All right. So how you doing, Anthony?
I'm good. I'm here. I know who I'm supposed to be playing in this match in a few minutes here, and there's a lot of fear because he's great and he likes IG and I don't. So I guess we'll see. We'll see how this goes in a few minutes. But I don't know. This is great. I didn't know who you had. I knew Ru was going to be on here. Robert's fantastic. I'm glad he's here. I always like being on a stream with him. He's great. Like you said, we've played each other a couple times, and we will go back and forth about Pittsburgh and Philly sports for however long you feel like doing that. So good guy. This is a good group.
Yeah. So how are you feeling about the entire the big reveal that we had last week with your?
Yo, that was crafty. I give credit where credit's due. That was good. I was not expecting it. It's probably the first time that Christine's ever like, "Hey, don't you have a thing to do?" Like now, I was kind of confused, but I thought she was just trying to give me a heads up. But now I see why. She's crafty. I don't know how good that is for me. That she's that slick and can hide it from me for a week, but it was fun. It was unexpected, so it caught me off guard. But luckily, I was still able to not completely choke and still beat her in trivia because I would not have heard the end of that.
Yeah, I showed my wife because I think they posted this on Saturday. I showed her that night about it, and she was like, "Why?" And I was like, "This is so funny. Watch this, please." And she's not into any of this trivia stuff, but she doesn't do with any of it. But she at least supports me in my endeavors, so that's always good. But I thought it was so funny. And then, of course, when was it? I guess last night, Thursday, you had your opening night trivia working title show. And I have only got past the introductions because it is so funny that can't stop laughing.
I am a fantastic time. That's all. That's the way I look at it. But I had that plan in my head. I was like, all right, if I'm introducing them, I'm gonna say something like that because it's funny, and she doesn't care.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious, and I was drinking coffee on the way to work when that happened, and I spit out because I thought it was so funny.
I apologize for that.
No, it was wonderful. I haven't laughed like that in a long time, so good work. Or at something else, like I laughed my butt off last week whenever Christina came in, and you're laughing, and I'm sitting over here trying to be professional and not laugh. But as soon as I finished, I had a ball with it. But
gotta entertain.
Yeah, it was a good time. But thank you for coming in on the show again. I bet you're real nervous about this playing Amari thing.
Not thrilled about it.
Yeah,
not thrilled about it at all.
You got this. But I'm gonna go ahead and send you to the back and then bring out Mr. Amari Moses. What's up, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. My internet died for like a second, so I had to refresh and come back, but it's okay. I'm here now, so hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, that happens. And then you told me that we were live on the TMG Entertainment.
Yes, the hi people. Everybody can see us and hear us right now.
Yeah, so that's great. I'm sure I'll hear about that with the admins later, but it will be okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It gets the show out there. But so how you doing, fellow?
I'm good. I've upped my camera game. The light is hitting me. I'm very clear, no longer grainy. So I'm enjoying that. Other than that, it's been, even with one day off, it's been a long week. I don't know why. It just has been long. Maybe because I'm waiting for next Friday, which is still not here yet. And I'm just like, how long have we been waiting on this? So maybe next week will also be longer, but it'll get here at some point.
Yeah, I'm really excited for you guys. I know we normally film these on Fridays, and I discussed with Anthony about us moving it to Saturday because we all want to be able to watch and support you guys and stuff because the Fan League 4 deserve that. So, yeah, like I want to watch the draft. So it's better to, not hurry up the entire show instead of we can just wait and then film it Saturday or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's going to be a good time. I can't wait. Like I told Anthony earlier, like unless something awful happens, I'll be watching and it's going to go great. So, yep, like it's going to be a good time. So,
for sure. And I needed to make sure I was on this episode because I heard two people were trashing Fellowship last week. And I need to make sure there's no Two Tower slander because that is the greatest thing ever. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah, I agree completely. Last week being the only one who liked that movie, it was really hard. And I just, as a person who I say that Return of the King is still my favorite movie. So I'm really waiting for next week to hear Anthony's opinion on that because I think it's my favorite movie of all time. So I guess we'll see next week how that goes. But yeah, it was a very, very interesting episode last week, and I can't wait to do it again this week.
All right.
All right, I'm going to send you back to the back, and we're going to start our championship match in just a minute. All right. There we go. All right. There we go. We got it. All right. So, Mr. Moses, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you want geek questions or singles questions?
You already know that I would probably pick geek, but I'm not going to do that. We're going to go singles. I want to go singles. I want to see how this goes.
Oh.
Yes. So we're gonna go singles. We're gonna test it out. Let's make this a good one.
Because you know that if you went geek, you'd be up like 8-2 in 5 seconds, and we'd just be done.
You said it, not me.
I know.
Yeah. All right. So refresh people on the rules. You get 2 repeats. It's 10 questions long, all singles questions. Tie goes to the champion, and that's it. Anthony is the champion. Amaru is the challenger. And you guys have anything to say to one another?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You.
And good luck.
You're a good person.
All righty. So, man, I'm never going to be able to use these geek questions.
You will at some point. This is just Ruby and a super good dude.
All right. In the category of directors, who directed Inception? And please do not write it in the private chat. I know last week we had that going on, and if you and Christina had been paying attention, you would have got the opportunity to do that. So
I made sure we waited till it was pens down.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't there before.
Okay, good deal. I wasn't paying attention. I just saw that the answers were there, and I was like, "Oh Lord!" All right, Anthony. I've talked too much. Go, Anthony.
Christopher Nolan. I made a little Family 4 symbol.
Hey, no.
And more.
Okay, one I definitely know. If I didn't, I would throw away my Nolan card.
Good. 1-1. All right, in the category of scores and soundtracks.
How did I know those were the first 2 categories?
Pretty much I rearranged some of the categories, but the first 3 are normally the same. Who composed the score to Interstellar?
I know 3 composers, and we're gonna hope it's one of them.
Are we doing a full Nolan round?
Yeah, really.
2.
I might be okay with that.
All right, Amaru.
Hans Zimmer.
Anthony.
Hans Zimmer.
Both of you are correct. And no, that was just a happy coincidence. I wrote those questions like days apart. So, all right. In the category of Oscars, how many times has Meryl Streep been nominated for an Oscar? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anthony?
I wrote a number. That number was 4.
Okay, Amaru?
I'm hoping it went up 1 since the last time I remembered. 18?
Oh.
The correct answer is 21.
21. Damn. It's gone up more than once since last time I remembered.
All right.
Pay attention, Oscars.
In the category of Dwayne Johnson movies, how many times has The Rock played Luke Hobbs in the Fast and the Furious franchise? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Amaru?
5?
Anthony?
5.
Both are correct.
Okay.
In the category of spy movies, how many James Bond movies have been released by Eon Productions?
We got a lot of numbers here.
Yeah, a lot of numbers.
I love numbers. Five, four,
This is gonna-
3.
Repeat that.
Okay. In the category of spy movies, how many James Bond movies have been released by Eon Productions?
Math.
Mm,
Math this out.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anthony,
25?
Amaru,
I said 24.
24 is correct.
I forgot No Time to Die was the 25th.
Yes.
All right.
I mean, it should be out by now, but no.
Should be.
Yeah.
I'm claiming last April as it being out. No? Okay.
In the category of sci-fi fantasy, who plays Brahm in the Aragon movie?
What?
He is the only good part of this movie.
I'm hoping this is the right person. This is the only person I know in this film by name.
That probably makes it then. Oh, hang on.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And Amaru,
Jeremy Irons.
Anthony.
I don't know. I said Josh Hutcherson because it sounded like a kid that could be in a movie of that sort.
And the correct answer is Jeremy Irons. In the category of horror/thriller, who directed Get Out?
I feel like Rue's not getting a lot of horror thriller, but I feel like he's getting this one.
Getting this one. It was, and then you said directors, but then you said Get Out.
Yeah. All right.
1. And Anthony.
Jordan Peele.
And Amaru.
I said B. Jordan Peele.
Both are correct. The score right now is 6-4. All right. In the category of movie release dates,
Yeah, good.
in what year did the movie The Last Airbender come out?
Who cares?
That is the correct answer, but not the one I'm looking for.
All right. I think I got a 1 in 4 chance. I hope.
I have a 1 in 21.
5, 4,
Pretty sure I know the first two numbers.
2, 1, and Lamar
I'm hoping it came out in high school, 2006.
and Anthony.
I'm hoping it came out after I was out of college, 2009.
Ooh, so close. The correct answer was 2010.
Oh, shit.
I was in college? Really? What? Okay.
All right. In the category of westerns,
What number question is this?
this is number 8.
Okay. Still have a chance.
In the category of westerns, who plays Wyatt Earp in Tombstone?
Which one was that?
There we go. Oh, crap.
Wait, no, that wasn't. What? I'm pretty confident this is wrong.
4, 3, 2, 1. Anthony
I said Val Kilmer.
and Amara.
Kurt Russell.
It is in fact Kurt Russell.
Yep.
All right, and your final question. In the category of animated movies, who voices Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story?
There we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Amaru
The man who doesn't know what spades are. Tim Allen.
and Anthony.
Challenge that said Jim Allen. It's Tim Allen.
All right. And the new SuperNova Show movie trivia champion, Amaru Moses.
Hey,
Nice.
I might be this for a week and then done.
Yeah, you got it though.
Oh,
All right, Anthony, I'm going to move you to the back and talk with Mr. Moses for just a second. All right. So, how do you feel about that entire thing?
that was cool. I was glad to get the W and in singles nonetheless. I am a math teacher who writes in cursive, Anthony, so my T's look like J's, but that is how you write a capital T, in cursive. So, but yeah, that last one, I always forget Kevin Costner's name, and then I always am like, is it Costner or is it Russell? And then I was like, wait, no, Costner was not in that film. I don't believe. So, yeah, but that was cool. I enjoyed myself.
Yep. Quick, easy, to the point. But so, what we're going to do now is, all right, let's see here. Hey, we got a wheel here. All right. So I've got 4 people who responded to my message. Mr. Robert Kastner, Mr. Ryan Payne, Mr. Nick Carley, and Mr. Antonio Chavez. So this will be the person that you will face next week if you do not get drafted. If you were to get drafted, we would have to vacate the championship, and this person will pay Anthony for the championship. So let's go ahead and...
No matter the spin, I would have went geek next week. So
and Mr. Ryan Payne. All right.
Inception. There you go.
Yep, there we go. We got it. All right. So now I guess let's talk some Schmodown.
Can I say 2 things before we get on with it?
Yes.
1, I tied Amaro, even though I knew the Meryl Streep question. And 2, if Amaro gets drafted, and I'm not blowing smoke, if he gets drafted and is in the IG league, he's a top 4 IG player immediately.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
No, I just wanted to put that out there. Just wanted to make sure people were aware of that I was playing in the back and that Amaro was great.
I appreciate it. I will give some insight. I think I can give this insight a little bit. The amount of movies and categories being added to IG is leveling all playing fields.
Woo.
I will say that a lot.
It is a lot. So I still co-sign that statement. Top 4 for sure. I'm hoping, but it's going to be a lot of work.
No hope required. Concrete fact.
All right. So first things first. The awards were last weekend. Was anyone surprised by anyone who won awards and for what?
Surprise? No.
No.
Completely like y'all are wrong for a bunch. Sure.
I mean, it's definitely, there's a couple that were obviously like this just happened bias instead of the actually what's the best one. Like people definitely thought of what just occurred instead of things that happened earlier for a few. But yeah, of course, everyone's going to vote for the popular ones instead of what might actually deserve it.
There's one category I thought was weird-ish, but I'm not really surprised with who they picked to win. I just thought it would go a different way. Otherwise, no, it seemed to go straight chalk, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It was no real surprises. So this week, what we're going to do is each one of us is going to talk about a faction. You can hopefully choose a different faction than someone else. But who do you think is going to get picked up in free agency? Since free agency begins in 25 minutes, and this is live, so no one can say that we definitely watched the show beforehand. Ha ha ha! Maybe I planned that. I in fact did not.
We'll go with that.
But yeah. So y'all think for a second, and obviously, like I said before, the most obvious is the stars. If they don't get the odd couple in Damon, it'll be a travesty. So I would say exclude them from the conversation unless you absolutely want to bring up like someone else that they sign instead of.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Chance, Colin, and Kalinap. Wait, never mind.
No.
I can't take that one. I can't take it already. Like as a
Yeah, don't take them because they've already got themselves signed in or
all right,
saved, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I only want y'all to think about this for just a second, and then let's start discussing it.
I mean, I feel like the one that I'm a little more intrigued by is probably a third choice in swag, because I feel like Paul definitely, and then it's do you keep Ace or do you go Lon? And then I think there was one other person in swag that was a guaranteed to stay.
Chandru.
So it's like you have Chandru, who you obviously keep, and then you have Paul, who you obviously want to keep, but then it's Lon and Ace. Do you keep the Star Wars player that had a great run but is probably never going to honestly beat Damon? Or do you take Lon and keep that? That would be I think of most of them, that was the one I was like, I don't know where they would go with that last pick.
Okay, so that's where I think the surprise factor is going to come in. Swag, I think, is either Dan Merle or Bateman are going to sign with Swag. The team with Paul Oyama.
Maybe.
That's been rumored for a while, right? Is all the polls and everything asking about Dan Merle future partners, and it's always Ethan Irwin or it's always like Paul Oyama are the two. So I would not be surprised if he ended up being the third.
I'm not sure where Swag is going to go with their third. If they unless they happen to randomly keep Lon. I think Ace is going to come back. I think that's what he's going to do and just keep working with him because of how much better he got, and he could just continue that. I don't know why, but I feel that Bateman might want to try to team up with Irwin and the Suspects.
I see that.
I think Irwin is going to go to Sam, and then Bateman is going to try to get over there with him. But it is a lot more interesting because the players get to choose. So
yeah, that's the only reason why. It's possible that Paul Oyama could go to the dungeon.
That's not happening.
He was already.
Oh, I know that's not happening.
I mean, it probably won't. No.
Yeah, but
Interesting speculation, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how it's going to work because it's like if people can pick where they want to go, and then you're going to have. So if say one of the top tier players wants to go to somewhere where you guaranteed, oh, these three are definitely going to be on there, like the Stars, and then they're like, oh, Dan Merle wants to come join our team. Do you not take them because you want these other three? So I guess that's kind of the interesting part. Like a lot of the free agency stuff, I feel like is you're going to take the top two are obviously guaranteed. There's probably a lot that, yeah, we're keeping our loyalties. I mean, obviously, whatever you want to say about the exchange, that's a disaster in the making, and they're just going to pick up whoever's left over because there's only one person that really wants to be on there at this point, I think. So that one would be more of a spot for some players that are kind of left off to the side or left behind because Merle goes somewhere else. They're going to be like, all right, we'll just come over here. I'll team up with Broker or something and see how that goes.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think the only thing that gets the control out of the player's hand is that they have to be. I think they have to be offered a spot.
Right.
So if nobody offers them a spot, or if they turn down one and nobody else offers them,
they go in the draft.
It's well, you're in the draft now.
Right.
So, I mean, there's Bateman, Merle, Roca, whatever. They're not gonna be left off. Like if they turn down one faction, other factions are going to try to pick them up. Period. But it's gonna be funny for some of them. It's gonna be weird for some of them if like one faction puts out the offer, but they refuse and they're like, "Am I gonna risk having to go in a draft and go wherever, or do I just guarantee with this faction?" And does it make a difference?
Right.
So like I don't know, say Janine or something gets gets an offer from the Den, and she has to contemplate, which would be ridiculous because somebody else better offer her something. But like she has to contemplate, do I want to risk not getting picked up and then going anywhere in the draft? Or does it really matter either way? Because like the Den could pick me up anyway and I'm gonna get picked up. So it's a lot of things to think about.
It is.
How many preconceived notions do you think the players have about like where it is they could potentially end up before they go into a draft next week? Like you mentioned the idea that they have to be offered, and then people probably won't want to go into the draft because they don't want to deal with the crapshoot. But how much of a preconceived notion do you think they have before that about where they might end up? Is it how random, I guess, would it be for them, or do they have an inkling?
I mean, it's one of those things where, like, Marisol, she knows that if she doesn't sign with someone, there's no way she gets with corruption.
Probably true.
If someone's drafting her in the first round, there's no way that she survives all the way to the 8th pick in the first round. There's no way. Like, unless
Either way, I think people just want to screw with corruption, but she's skilled, but there are definitely going to be other people in the draft, I think, a little above her, but someone's going to do it just to screw with Shannon and just to take her and Collins away from each other as a team.
Yep.
Anything else.
That wouldn't be surprising, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the free agencies, it's like when I'm watching like when basketball does their thing and football, it's just like, I have no idea what's going to happen. Everything's chaos. And it's just, I mean, behind the scenes, obviously, there's probably all these managers are talking to all the players to be like, yo, if you wanted to come here, would you be cool teaming with this person? So I know if you'll work with this or however, or I'm not picking you. And I'm sure there's a lot of back and forth going on behind the scenes. This is kind of an interesting, like, it's an interesting concept to do a free agency in this, but it's also kind of like, they're top two for every team is pretty solid, I would imagine, unless you're one of the Burrows or Batemans who's just like, yo, I'm straight piecing out of this because nah.
Yeah, it's gonna be it will be hilarious if Barbarian turns down Gucci.
Oh, yeah, I'll see how that happens.
That would be funny.
That would be funny.
That would be hilarious if he decides to leave and go somewhere else.
Trying to think where he would end up that would suit him if not there.
He looks like he lives in the den.
No, okay.
I think Barbarian could fit anywhere. I think his dry humor is like, and how it just he would fit in swag as the like. He seems dry, but he's really cool. He would fit in Koi being the cool amongst all the craziness. I think he fits anywhere.
Yeah, he kind of is multiple. Like, he could do anything.
You're probably right. It's just because we've only seen him in the one place. There's an indelible mark of it, but you're right. He could probably be flexible in that. Anthony, you were talking about top twos. I was trying to think of, factions and who top twos would be. Who's the other? And I might be overthinking this. Who's the second guy in like the dungeon? Is it Zip?
I guess that would require me to know who was in that one because I have not seen the dungeon do anything in forever, so I don't even remember who's in that. But
for me, I think it's Parker, and I would think it's Parker and Zip.
Okay, that's kind of where my mind was, but I was thinking about kind of your qualification.
I'm gonna imagine Smets will be coming back.
I think he's taking the
year off. He has a kid and everything too, so I would imagine if he takes a year off, then absolutely those are the two. But if he decides like, hey, no, I'm gonna come back in this year, then I would imagine he would be in there. And then, do you keep Parker when you already have an IG powerhouse?
I mean, he did that last year, so
He tried that last year. He tried all the eggs in the one basket. He tried to play the odds, and the odds were ever not in his favor.
No.
Yeah. So, do you think anyone like Chris Jericho or Kevin Smith get picked up in free agency?
No. I'm good now. I don't, because I think they can still. They're not going to be drafted in the first or second round of the draft to begin with. They're great personalities, but it depends if you're going to go with trivia knowledge. Like Kevin Smith is good, Jericho is good, but they're not top tier. You have all the Star Wars people that are more top tier, or IG people that are more top tier. I think they would be 4th, 5th round maybe, and probably if Koi still really wants Kevin, he can get him. If Roxy still really wants Jericho, it'll be easy for her to get.
Yeah, that's one of those things where they may do that because there's a guaranteed slot at big events for those two because they'll bring in fans.
Yeah.
So if you're guaranteed a match at Spectacular because you draft Kevin Smith, you might sacrifice a early draft pick or something for that.
You see some draft day trades.
Yeah, I was thinking about what you're talking about, Anthony. We need Woj bombs.
Yes, right. Yes, yo.
We need somebody back there who knows the ins and outs, who has sources in every faction, and can really just lay it out there so we're aware of all the inner machinations.
It's got to be Brad Gilmore. I mean,
He would probably be.
it was that other guy, but now anytime I think of Frankie, Drake comes on in my head and will for forever and a day now because he's in his feelings all the time, and that song should be his theme song. So I'm gonna try to make that a thing. I'm just gonna like find a meme or have somebody like run that back anytime Frankie talks.
That's amazing.
I'm all for it.
All right, so I think we have some good ideas here. How do we feel about moving on to Lord of the Rings and the Two Towers?
I mean, that the only slightly okay one out of the 6 Lord of the Rings movies, or Hobbit, or whatever you want to call them, Middle Earth.
Oh, Lord.
If you listen to Kevin Smith, it's the one where they bump into someone and he goes, ugh, and they keep walking. So there is some difference in what's going on.
Of that moving Captain Planet tree.
Yo, it is by far the best Lord of the Rings film, period. You don't even have to mention The Hobbit. It is absolutely
agree with you. It is the best Lord of the Rings film, which still makes it trash, but is the best of those movies. I'm not arguing with you at all about that.
I feel like Anthony's like from another planet, and he just doesn't understand what makes things like that good.
No, I'm from a normal Earth, not Middle Earth, whatever the hell that means.
How do you
for lower
the Middle Ages, but like different?
How do you not root for the 3 of them running for days on end, trying to capture them, and then you combine that with freaking Carl Urban coming in and just wrecking shop?
I don't get wrong. The people they bring in these movies are fantastic. I love Carl Urban. I love Viggo Mortensen. I love all these people. I mean, Frodo was a punk ass the whole time. And I don't think anyone can argue that. And the other friends were just, they're there. Congratulations. Here's our top 4 people, and they all suck. But like, all the actors are good. I enjoy every single one of these actors. Just in other movies that they do is where I like them. In this, you just said it yourself. How can you not root for 3 people running? That's all they fucking do is run and then walk and then run and then walk. And then 2 people decide to go 2 different ways. So now we got 2 different groups walking. So we have like extra mileage that we're taking up. Like, I want to put a pedometer on one of these dudes and just find out like how long they actually walk, because that would be impressive.
Yeah.
Your face is just like, what the hell's wrong with you? I can see it.
So last week, I asked the crew here who their favorite character was, hero, and their least favorite. Last week, I said my favorite character in the Fellowship of the Ring was Samwise Gamgee, and my least favorite was Boromir. Anthony said his favorite was Aragorn, and his least favorite was Frodo.
Fair.
Anthony, has that changed at all in the second
mean,
edition of this?
not really. I guess maybe in the second one, like the little dwarf dude. He's dwarf, right?
You talking about Gimli?
Gimli. I liked him because he kind of had a little bit of humor and he was kind of funny at times. And Frodo still sucks. I cannot argue that he is a terrible friend. He is a bad person in all these movies. Why did anyone trust this asshole with a ring? Like, it makes no sense. But I'll stick with Gimli as my favorite in this one. Provide a little more entertainment, and Frodo still sucks.
I will agree with you on Frodo can kind of go kick rocks.
Yes.
He's whiny. I mean, I know he's bearing it all, but I mean, like you can bear it in ways and not just sound like whiny from jump. Frodo is definitely my least favorite of all of the Lord of the Ring characters. I have to go through them. All of the main characters. He's definitely my least favorite. If I had gone last week, Gandalf for sure is my favorite. Gimli's close. But Gandalf is my favorite. I'm having trouble with Two Towers because Gimli's a very good choice. But my favorite scene of the Two Towers is the last March of the Ents on Isengard. That I just wait for that scene of them tearing up Isengard every single time, and I am with glee every time it happens. So I'm trying to separate whether or not my favorite scene gives me my favorite character of Treebeard, but I think from the moment that Legolas grabs the horse and then flips onto him, I was like, well, there it is. It's Legolas. And then into Helm's Deep and what he does there. Orlando Bloom may not be able to do much outside of being Legolas, but he is killer in this. And I think I'm going to have to say he is my favorite in Two Towers.
I didn't get a chance to be on the panel last week. If I had to choose in Fellowship, I would say probably Gandalf is my favorite. And I've never liked Frodo ever. If you've ever played those like PS2 Lord of the Rings games where you get to play the campaigns, I would always choose Samwise, and Frodo can suck it because Samwise is the real hero.
Yes.
For this one, it's interesting you say, Rue, that the March of the Ents, last March of the Ents is your favorite. Because I was going to say that, Samwise is my favorite. But now I'm kind of thinking about it, and I really like Merry in this movie because in Fellowship, him and Pippin are inextricable. They're kind of like the same because they're just the other two hobbits who don't really understand the gravity of the situation. And in this one, you start to see Merry take a responsibility upon himself that he has a role to play, even though everybody's telling him not to. It's like the Captain America thing, where it's like you plant your legs like a tree and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Compromise when you need to, but if it's something that you have to stand stalwart on, you do it. And he does that so much. Pun sort of intended because the Ents are like tree people. But Mary's really good in that, and just Frodo, man, just don't look in the reflection of the pools, man. He told you that, and you did it anyway. He tried to strangle you, and you were like, "Nah, I'm cool." Come on, man.
Anthony, I will tell you, even though Two Towers is my favorite Middle-earth film, it does have every movie I love has like just skippable scenes and parts where I'm like, all right, Two Towers unfortunately has the most skippable scenes, and that's whenever Sam and Frodo are with Spiegel. I'm just like, this is great, but can we get to the others, please? Because I am like, aside from when Smeagol and Gollum are talking, because that is one of my favorite theater experiences ever. The amount of laughter the first time people saw Smeagol and Gollum talking to each other is one of the theater experiences out of thousands that I vividly remember because it was absolutely hilarious. But when they're just walking and talk and waiting, and I'm just like, okay, can we get past these three? Because this is where I see people not liking Lord of the Rings.
It's like don't get me wrong. The battle scene at the end, it looked beautiful. I've always said this, that the movies look beautiful. They like you can watch it, you're like, man, that's awesome. But if you're gonna say there are scenes you can skip in a 3-hour and 43-minute movie, that's ridiculous. If there's only 30 minutes of this movie that are actually like super entertaining, and the rest of it is like walking, and then like, and the freaking trees, the trees don't like help. They're like, these guys are like, hey, look, there's this giant thing happening here that's going to destroy like all of Middle Earth, where evil is going to reign supreme and everybody's going to die. And they're like, nah, we good, we're fine. And then they're like, oh wait, you chopped down a tree? Oh, we're gonna Captain Planet it shit, and then we're gonna go attack everybody. Like,
you have to recognize that they have lived through everything. So it's like that. It's like
we lived through deforestation probably before once, and a couple of them survived, and they're the only.
That's the thing.
The other time,
they haven't. They've been asleep. It's like the Watchers in the MCU. They just watch everything. It's just a blink to them. So it doesn't really
matter. I was in the movie theater during this movie. I was asleep. And the only reason I woke up is because someone made a loud boom, and I'm like, what the hell was that? Like, there's a tower, there's like a thing, and there's a bunch of people attacking each other. All right, I'm in. And then I see it again.
I'll take what you say and flip it. In a 3-hour and 43-minute movie, there's 30 minutes of skippable things.
Oh, dude.
The rest is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I was going to say, if there's barely any skippable things in a 3.5-hour movie, I feel like your movie's doing pretty well by the probabilities and the numbers.
Oh, I go, there's a lot of skippable things. I could watch 30 minutes of that 3-hour, 40-minute, 3-minute movie, and I'm good. Like, I've seen what I needed to see.
See, yeah. I have seen Lord of the Rings probably 20 times, the entire 3. And at least half of those times were Fellowship was on TNT randomly. I was watching it, and then I was like, well, I got to finish the other 2 now. And like literally, I think 5 times me and my brother were watching it and it finished, and my brother was like, go get the other, go get it now. And 2 Towers still goes by quicker than the 1 time I've seen Godfather Part 2 and the 2 times I've seen Goodfellas.
Thanks.
Those feel to me like 3.5-hour movies. I feel every second of them. I do not feel the 3.5 hours of 2 Towers.
I don't know if I can go that far. I understand your premise, but I'm gonna not wade into those waters.
Go ahead, because I know I am very, very I am in the minority with those. I think they're amazing movies, but man, I am not into them. So it's like he says it's nothing but walking. The Godfather 2 especially is nothing but people around the table talking. It's amazing.
Walking through markets too.
Yeah, it's amazing talking. It's amazing dialogue, and it keeps you interested. But it's the same premise.
I absolutely agree. These movies are so like interesting, and it might just be the fact that like I love lore and stuff about make-believe worlds, but like everything in this movie, like again, I think Return of the King is a better movie, but 2 Towers is wonderful. Like all those walking things are so good. Like all of them. I even love the Frodo, Sam, and Gollum stuff because again, like I said last time, Sam is my favorite character in the first 2 movies. So every chance I get to see Sean Astin do his thing, I'm like, yes. And then I do absolutely agree that Frodo is the worst. Like, yeah.
I did calculations here, by the way. This is how many days, if you didn't sleep with slight breaks for bathroom and food, is how often you watch Lord of the Rings. That's all 3 movies, 20 times, 10 full days, 24 hours. That's a lot of time.
That's a good 10 days spent.
Yeah, like
I don't know about that. That's over a week.
I think I'm at 5 days. I think I would say 10 times, maybe.
Yeah, I've probably watched Return of the King 100 times.
Oh my god!
Like
I get it.
When I was a kid, because it came out when I was in the 6th grade, and I would put the VHS in, and the VHS was 2 discs. or two tapes. Like immediately take the first one out, put the second one in, and then immediately take the second one out and put the first one back in and rewind it for 4 minutes, and then do that all day long because, of course, as a child, that's what you do if you're not outside. If it's like snowing or whatever in North Carolina, you can't do crap. You can't do anything. So then there goes Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
Yeah, no, 3 hours. I watched it. I fell asleep. A good nap though, in the theater too. Like I fell asleep in the theater. I don't do that. I love movies, and I stay awake during terrible movies. I fell asleep during every single one of these, and then I tried watching it again, and I forced myself awake with like Red Bull and Skittles, so I was friggin' wired trying to stay awake for this movie. I couldn't do it. Also, like guys, Gandalf is a friggin' wizard that came back from the dead. You're telling me the best he can do is like run on a horse at the last second to save the day? Can't he just like, boop, done, like Harry Potter style and just end everything?
Wizards aren't magic. Wizards aren't that type of
Get back from the dead. Get back from the dead.
Anthony, we
Get back from the dead. I know he's some angel thing in the first one, but then he came back from the dead. Like that's some superpowers. That's some crazy superpowers right there.
That wasn't his choice.
It wasn't his decision.
Go ahead, Robert.
No, I was just gonna say that he didn't like summon the spirit within him and then heal his wounds. Something otherworldly decided to bring him back for the sake of
Valar was like,
Yeah.
the Valar was like, hey, your job's not done. Get back down there, son, and do your work.
Exactly.
So basically, it was a guarantee the good was going to win because the guys were like, "Oh, you're not done. Go back, and if you die, I'll just go bring you back again. You're going to keep going until you win this battle." So there's really the end game's already sold because someone said, "You're not done. I'll just keep bringing you back." So if anyone else that was important died, they're just going to be like, "Yeah, you're not done. Get back in the battle. You're going to come back from the dead."
I don't know the lore that deep. I don't know if Gandalf would have died.
I don't know if he signed a contract or something.
No, I think that was purely because, like, he needed to come back for the War of the Ring. But if Sauron had gotten the ring back, he would be so much more powerful than Gandalf. So there would be nothing that he could do about that situation. No amount of bringing Gandalf back would solve that problem.
The Ring. Remember, you said it. You said it. The Ring. I had this discussion last time about the title of these movies.
Yeah.
What's going on with the title of these movies?
Yeah,
You call it the Lord of the Rings, and yet during these movies, there is a singular ring with many lords going after it.
but there's 20 rings total.
Yeah, but there's still more than one lord. Should be lords. Well, now there's one ring in these movies. There might have been more earlier, but now there's one.
The reason why it's the Lord of the Rings is because the One Ring controls all of the. So if you're Lord of the One Ring, you are Lord. Oh no! Did I get? Okay, I'm back. I know I'm back. I was saying the One Ring controls all of the rings. So if you're Lord of the One Ring, you're Lord of all of them.
All right, so let's simplify this. There, Anthony. There's 20 rings here.
Okay.
9 were given to the race of men.
That sounds
7
like
were given to the race of dwarves. 3 were given to the elves, and Sauron made one for himself to rule them all. One ring to rule them all. Also, this is so hard to do on a camera. Oh, this is all jacked up.
If that dude made one, why can't anyone else make one? Why can't I make a ring and be like, yo, this is my ring now? So
He had Mount Doom, and nobody else was hanging around in Mordor. Mount Doom helping with forging fires. He was the one who had that.
Here's I get why everyone loves this. I'm just going to make my quick statement, then I'll let you all go about why this is actually good. Is every time I make a comment, there needs to be some very long, descriptive, detailed thing about why what I say is incorrect. It has to be this long, drawn-out thing, which just means there is so much background information that needs to be done for these movies that really is just super excessive. Rant over.
Okay. Here. You mentioned the idea about walking in a lot of it. I'll try to explain why those parts are compelling. Score, pathos, relationships, drive, motivation. That's 5 words, and I think that covers it.
I have drive and motivation.
Anthony, I will say the jokes I'm here for and I will listen to and laugh at all times are Eagle jokes and why the Eagles just couldn't.
I brought that up.
Well, I mean,
I'm here for all that. those jokes, bring them, because it's like, come on, fam, you could have at least got them halfway there.
Family Guy covered that, right? Because it's not about the destination; it's about the journey.
Well, it's about the destination when you're trying to save the world. I don't need. If I'm trying to save the world, I'm not using a journey. I'm going to go save the world. Then I'll walk back and get my cardio in.
Oh, I don't know. With that, I still kind of connected to the same thing as like Greek gods, because I also really like Greek mythology. They don't interfere, so I take it as the same thing. You don't interfere with the world because they are holier than thou, and it's like, well, whatever. We'll see what happens with them, and if it's like really too bad and we're in danger, because like Sauron with the ring puts them in danger, then we're like, okay, well, maybe we'll give a little help there. Maybe they deserve it now because they've done everything that like they've gone through all the hell. But still, those ego jokes are hilarious.
Not to make this a thing about mythology, but the gods do intervene when they're slighted, or when their carnal needs need to be met.
Yeah, Zeus is kind of a dick.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's all he thinks with.
Well, good point.
This is still Two Towers talk, but there is no way. Anytime I talk Two Towers, I make this comparison for any Game of Thrones fan. The Battle of Helm's Deep is what the Battle of Winterfell wanted to be. It failed at miserably. It is one of the best war scenes ever.
Yeah.
Period. Saving Private Ryan, the Battle of Helm's Deep, right there together.
Cool.
Oh no, the Battle of Helm's Deep kicks the Battle of Saving Private Ryan right in the tuchus.
Wow.
I can't say that because the reality of
reality
So
is
visceral.
yeah.
It might be more epic, but it is not shot better. The Saving Private Ryan, like, I mean, that was real. Like, people that were in that almost couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Like the scene, like Two Towers, don't get me wrong, that was an absolutely epic fight scene. I will never say anything against it. It was one of the biggest battles that you've seen, and it looked really cool, and it was well done. There were cool moments in it. That's when I was awake. I enjoyed that part. It's just a lot of the other stuff I just don't think is worth the 3.5 hours.
I have switched gears on this one though, because I remember thinking when those movies came out, everybody was like, Return of the King is a masterpiece, and Fellowship of the Ring started it. And the Two Towers, everybody loved Helm's Deep, but it was kind of like in the middle. But I've turned as time has gone on, and I do think it ends up being my favorite, or if it's not, it's a minuscule step that I can't calculate underneath the others.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Two Towers is amazing.
This was fun.
Yeah. Your points are valid. It's not like they haven't been stated. It's not from you, but I've heard it a lot.
I'm sure.
Your points are valid.
And
Yeah.
Interiors, you're right. The score of this movie is I will always say the score and the scenery of Lord of the Rings is some of the best you will see in cinema. It is beautiful and it is scored perfectly. But my God, you put up the score, I get it. Pathos, yeah, they're taking a path. That makes sense.
Oh man.
But driving motivation, yeah. But if I'm like walking to my friend's house, I have driving motivation to get there. So, but you're right. The score is great. I get the relationship part. You do need to have those slower moments to get relationships. But half the time, these people disappear on each other and they go different ways. But I will never argue on score, and scenery is some of the best in cinema in these movies. It is beautiful, and it is something that is even I respect as much as I dislike these movies.
Yeah, like I can't wait because in 2 weeks, like Anthony has never watched the Hobbit movies, and I asked him to watch them.
Oh. Sorry.
And I can't wait to see what you think of that. Whenever you'll think these are masterpieces when it comes to the Hobbit movies.
I don't know because before I really asked people, I thought the Hobbit movies were pretty good. I look back at it and they're like, they're still okay. I don't think they're as trash as everybody says they are. I see why, and I see why, but I actually enjoy them as well. So I am very interested in what Anthony thinks about the Hobbit films.
Yeah, I like the first two. The third one is no, thank you. Like, I will watch any IG film, period, before I watch Battle of the Five Armies.
That's a bold statement.
Yeah,
There's this film called Barbed Wire that might argue that for you.
I'll try one positive to it.
yeah. Like, I'll try anything over having to watch that travesty again. There was like one good part in that entire movie, and in 4 weeks when we review it, I'll talk about it. But
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear this. This is great.
Yeah.
all right, so that was good. We're gonna go ahead and go to our farewell thing.
I made it say farewell. Hey.
Yeah. All right. So, you guys have anything to plug or say or anything to the live viewers, and then eventually our listeners when I put this up on Anchor? Yeah, just-
I have like 50 million things to plug. Like, if I try to break down, I have my music podcast with my boys out here in Charlotte going live tomorrow. That's at, and I'll switch it again, Uncovered Music. And then, come on, there we go. And One Gotta Stay is back on Monday. I have 5 of the panelists ready to go. No video or anything. I'm just coming back. We're going back music, and we're going neo soul R&B. So I probably will put a picture up tomorrow to see if anybody else wants in. But it's Lauryn Hill, Maxwell, Music Soul Child, Erykah Badu, Jill Scott. So if you're into those people, that is a difficult one. I had to put 5 in there. But we're back Monday, so I will put that out to the masses, see if we can get one more spot filled.
And then, of course, before next episode, you'll have the draft.
Yes,
That's going to be very exciting.
that is true.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing that you're not worried about at all. Just back of your mind.
Doesn't mean anything. It's just a thing.
So,
Also Thursday, Anthony, something's happening.
yeah, that's right. I was going to mention that. I'm glad you said something, so I do know that you're still in. So that works out great. Anyway, so I don't have a lot going on except obviously check out Feature Presentation Productions. Go there. Fancy Film Fights every Wednesday, and then FPTL on Sundays. Always will rep Tony and his league. And also on Opening Night Trivia League, we are getting back into the rookie stuff. I think the geek stuff is kind of picking up. We're going to have some of the other 2 and the people in the title picture. We're going to get that going. So that's all there. And on Thursdays, I have my show called Working Title, where you pitch a movie based on something I give you. Could be words. It could be reboot a movie. Last week, I had my wife, Christina, and Peggy on to reboot a movie that wasn't a rom-com and make it a rom-com, which was very fun until they both just started dishing their own movies and made it more difficult for me to decide. But this coming Thursday, this man right here will be going on against Jacoby, one of the other draftees, kind of taking advantage of their newfound popularity and having them on. Plus, I think it'll be a lot of fun because, I mean, they're 2 of the nicest people, but apparently they're really good at debating. So I'm kind of excited for this because I didn't know what it was going to be like. But anyone that's listening, if you're interested, you can hit me up or go to Open Night Trivia League, send me a message. Doesn't matter. I'm got like the next month set up, so I'm pretty much set for a little bit, but let me know. And Sundays, my wife has Digesting Cinema podcast with Aaron J. So check that out with the Feature Presentation 52-week challenge. Do that. I think this coming Sunday is the Blair Witch Project, which I certainly have my opinions about. But I'm very curious what their opinions are. So that's it. I plugged everyone I know, so we're good.
I have even less to plug because my things are all kind of nebulous. They're not as I don't want to say professional, but they're not as clear cut and dry as these guys. I am a admin and a geek commissioner in a league called Titan Trivia that will be having a free-for-all here soon to determine who will be the person who is going to play for the title. I am currently the singles title holder. I'm waiting to play Chris Diaz again. in my second defense, but we'll see who plays one of us after that free-for-all. I have a podcast coming. Stupid equipment keeps wanting to break on me, and it takes me forever to get claims to go through. But once I have that more on solid footing, it's a sports podcast. I'll talk about that more in situations. I have my first match coming up in Fandom in Multiplex, and I'm really excited about that because I have been watching that for years and haven't got a chance to get in until now. Otherwise, just in all the leagues and stuff at Robert Kastner. So you want to talk about anything, I'm a pretty open guy. You can talk about stuff with me. That's cool. And I'll probably come back at you. So that's nice.
Yep. And people, of course, this is live to you guys. So anyone who's watching this, cool. You found where we stream. Normally, it is on Sundays at noon, and then it's also posted on Anchor. Tonight it's just Friday because technical difficulties. It happens. But yeah, just follow me at Colton Roberts 8 on Twitter, and you can follow the show at SuperNova_show. That's pretty much it. Just TMG Entertainment. If you're watching this, you already know where it's at. So good work. Guys, I really appreciate you guys being on. Anthony, that was always good. We got our new champion here, Mr. Amaro Moses. Robert, I'm going to get you a match real soon. Keep your DMs open. I'll talk to you about it. But this has been fun. Thank you guys so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
It's been great. Thank you.
Sweet.
And we are
going to tip your virtual waitress.
I hope ours